Synkinesis typically occurs later in a person's Bell's palsy recovery journey when involuntary, out-of-control facial movements happen with intentional, voluntary movements, like one eye blinking randomly with the intentional smile or vice versa. The challenging part is when the weaker eye doesn't close well, then one eye gets really dry, and strengthening that is really important. But practicing the smile is also really important. So what do we do if they are happening together? Today, we'll get creative with adding our tongue and voice. I'm Dr. Alison Wu, physical therapist and board-certified clinical specialist in neurologic physical therapy. If you haven't tried our first Bell's palsy exercises, go ahead and try them. Bell's palsy may or may not also affect one side of the tongue in a weakness. It's just not as noticeable as the face. But have you been biting your tongue by accident more when chewing food on one or the other side? Maybe you avoid chewing on one side because of tongue biting and or dribbling. Do you also notice one side of your neck is tighter than the other? The cranial nerve that controls your tongue also has branches that control your upper neck muscles. The more symmetrical control of your tongue, the more even your neck muscles will work, the less tension on one side as well. Before we talk about exercises, if you don't have an idea what your synkinesis patterns are, take a little video of yourself. First, look at active lip movements and see what happens to your eyes. Smooch your lips, roll your lips, smile, or frown if you can. And see what happens to your eyes. Next, we'll look at active eye movements and see what happens to your lips. Raise your eyebrows, furrow your eyebrows together, but try to keep your eyes open. Squeeze your eyes shut. Open your eyes really wide. Last, let's look at your tongue. Can you move your tongue without eye movements? Tongue in cheek. Tongue in cheek with your lips open and closing. If you're curious, you can also give yourself a little resistance just to test out which side of your tongue is stronger. Synkinesis patterns are so hard to disconnect because the eye muscle that allows you to squint and the mouth muscle that allows you to smooch are both circles, and they're both activated by the same nerve, cranial nerve number 7, just different branches of the nerve. This is why the eye and the mouth tend to move together in synkinesis. It's actually our brain's job, along with the brainstem, to coordinate which branch to use for which motions, like a perfectly synced orchestra. Isn't that amazing? Our challenge then is to try to regain control of these branches individually from each other. Recovery takes time, so much patience, celebration over small wins, and is never guaranteed. But we can keep on trying and stay creative. Let's give these exercises a go. It helps to use a mirror. This set of exercises are going to focus on elevating the eyebrows, opening the eyes as big as possible, opposite of the eye squint typically seen with synkinesis. Then add the lower half of the face. Raise the eyebrows as high as possible and add a little stretch if necessary to free it up. Because a lot of squinting happens on the inside or the outside, you can go on the inside and work on opening it up. You might feel like you start getting more flexible, or the outside, and start opening this up. Then use a little electrical stimulation tool on your forehead to help it activate. I found this off Temu. There's mixed reviews, but it's actually a beauty tool, but I really like it. This is very specific. So I just put it on my forehead, and I feel a zapping as I'm trying to draw it up. Try zapping on the outside and go towards the middle and back to the outside. I can feel my scalp even. So as you're raising your eyebrows, then try to smooch. And stick your tongue in one cheek and start humming. Hum as slow and long as possible. Take a breath and stick your tongue in the other cheek with another hum. Smooch. 5 times each cheek. If you figure out which side your tongue is weaker in which cheek, do 2 hums on the weak side, 1 hum on the strong side. With the forehead and eyebrows, you can also do this with smiling. Tongue on the roof of the mouth. Hold for 5 hums as long as you can. If you were able to frown, try it with frowning. Eyebrows up, add the tool, and frown. The humming helps you breathe and activate cranial nerve number 10. You notice that as you add more pieces to the eyebrows, that your eye starts to squint a little bit, especially when you add the mouth and the tongue. You can also take your hand and give an upward motion on the entire forehead to gain a feel of what that feels like to do the opposite motion to keep the eyebrows up. Do the upward motion with a little bit of stimulation. You don't feel this in your fingers at all. To try to help. Try this at home. See if starting at the bottom half of your face with a smooch first, tongue, humming, then adding the eyebrows and eyes wide open is easier to control the eyes in reverse. So you can have fun with this. You have to kind of try it out and see which way is going to help your face compensate and separate the movements the best. Have fun with this. You get to feel and figure out which sequence helps you separate the movements the best. Let us know how these exercises impact your life in the comments box below. We'd love to hear about your Bell's palsy recovery. I'm Dr. Alison Wu. Remember, we heal smarter, not harder.